Leave a card to. This is far easier in the classroom. Normally it takes me a few countdowns before I get the silence I get. Firstly, just absolutely humbled and blown away by the crowd here this evening. Any lingering doubts I had, I suppose, when I left teaching at the end of June, have been wiped out just seeing a room full of people here for a wellbeing event. I know so many of us personally are here in support of me, but to see an event, and I almost call it a celebration of where we're getting to in society, of opening up, talking that wee bit more about all things well-being, all things about our feelings, where we're at, where we want to get to. It's just powerful, and to be here and see that there on my own road is absolutely super. So thank you all so much for going to the time and effort to come here this evening. When I thought about this event, there were 3 people who came to mind straight away, and it's not often that things work out that you get exactly what you want, but I was very fortunate that that's the case here. Keir May has been a childhood friend of mine, and if you would have asked me to pick one friend who would move on to the field Kieran's working in his business Natural Resilience, where he really has taken things to a new level of getting men in particular to open up and talk about their feelings. I know that it's okay to talk about things other than football and being macho and putting on a front. Kieran would have been the very last friend on that list, which makes him the very best example and the most inspirational of people to inspire me and show me the way forward, and to find that wee bit more belief within myself to go down this path. So if you are happy enough to give Kieran an absolute massive round of applause, I'm so humbled to have him. So humbled to have him. Next to Kieran is one of the most lovely souls you'll ever meet, Miss Aoife Lennon. I didn't know Aoife personally. The first experience I had of Aoife was listening to her podcast on the GAA Social. I was actually travelling back from a coaching workshop, a Gaelic football coaching workshop, and my young son was in the car with me, and it was the quietest journey we've ever had in the car on the way home. It's usually full of a million questions. What do you call that team? What do you call that boy playing, Daddy? What skill, what game was that? And even him hearing Aoife's story was just amazed and blown away. And I, up until that point, hadn't heard of anyone speaking as raw, as honest, as open, but as determined as I heard Aoife open up on that podcast. And it was one of them moments where it says, I need to get in touch with this person, this special, special human being. And thankfully, Aoife being Aoife, returned a message, a lovely message. And since then, I've been very fortunate to meet up a few times, exchanged numerous messages. I think with an hour-long phone call nearly there on Monday when I was getting the wee jitters that you get a few days before an event like this. And it's just that sense of calmness. And I've no doubt that anyone who hasn't heard her story will be just blown away and mesmerised by her this evening. And I'm just so humbled to have her in my life. So Aoife, thank you so much for coming. And lastly, most of you, I'm sure, would know Aaron from his county hurling background. As impressive as that was, Aaron's 10 times, and it's not to dismiss his hurling skills, but he's 10 times the man that he is a hurler. Aaron, from the second I went down to Clonduff of all places, where he had to travel to find a wife. I can say nothing being married to a county down woman. I get it, Aaron, I get it. He reached out and we chatted about all things coaching. Aaron's doing a bit of coaching with a GPA. And normally when people say, actually give me a shout and we'll talk, that's where it ends. Aaron pursued me in order to help out. He literally went out of his way when he was meeting clients and in and around the Belfast area. Are you about? Let's chat. Let's upskill. Let's see how I can help you. Let's take this to the next level. And that's just the sort of human being that he is. You will find it hard to meet a more selfless, kind, warm-natured person as Aaron Graffin. And again, I'm absolutely delighted to have him as the perfect trio here. So thank you so much, Aaron. So let's get stuck in. What is coaching? To me, this is all coaching ever was. When coaching, and another form of coaching was first brought up to me. It was by a girl who many I'm sure know, Annette Kelly, best known as Penny Little Thoughts, who I met in an Irish News praise-winning event with a school. And I just couldn't get my head around why this girl was talking about all these different things, but you hadn't mentioned a football yet, or a hurl, or anything sport related. And it was only then when I did a bit of searching myself and a bit more digging that and speak of the devil, right on cue, Annette, that I wanted to find out that wee bit more. So she invited me to go for a dip in the sea with someone who was maybe a wee bit more credible, who had trusted a wee bit more, called Mark Hart. And the more Mark talked about the coaching, and I was just waiting on Mark, to be honest with you, talking about Tyrone and Ariel Kieran out there, and he seemed to talk about coaching another way too, that it says, no, this is something I need to know about. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think coaching is? Any form of coaching, if anyone wants to take a stab at it. Shawnee Mater, shout out.
Yeah. Direction.
Direction. Shawnee, if you'd say what coaching was.
Thank you. Suppose it's 10 years, actually 10 years ago, personally I went through redundancy and I came out and actually went down the coaching route. So I didn't know, like yourself, what was this coaching thing. But firstly, I was coached. Somebody coached me, and then I went into the coaching world. And I just thought this thing is unbelievable. Everybody should have a coach. And so really, the point of view, from my point of view, is trying to break it down into, there was three things that in my transformation. Number one was doing. I actually started to do things. I stopped talking, and I started to do. So I was doing more of something or doing less of something. So that whole thing about taking action was the big thing. The second thing was actually thinking. It completely changed my thinking. I started to think outside the box. I started to think slower, maybe start faster, and the whole thought thing, I was curious. And finally, the last thing was seeing. I started to see things that they were always there, but I just didn't see them. And I cringe when I look back sometimes and think to myself, did I actually do that? In my 30s and 40s, like, what was I doing? So the whole thing about self-awareness and perspective just went through the roof. So for myself, to have gone through coaching and what you're going to be doing now, what you're starting off on your journey to be a coach, the people around here in the community are just so lucky to have someone like yourself that's going to be going out and helping people with those types of things, doing things the way they think differently, the way they see things differently, and go through those elements of transformation. And there's a quote there, just an old Oscar Wilde quote, which was like, it's what most people just exist, but it's about, life is about doing. Why do people just exist? And one of the quotes you have in your thing is about tribe. Less people tribe, but unfortunately most people are just surviving. But there is another word out there, and for me the coaching was the thing that just sort of took me to another level and changed the way I opened my mind. So I think you're very lucky that someone yourself is going to step into this coaching world. Okay.
Thank you so much, honey. Cheers, right. Kieran, all things coaching.
A bit like Shawnee, I think I've seen the most growth when I've had a coach, either in life or in sport with powerlifting or business. Somebody to hold you to account. I love Ramdas's version of it. He says all we're doing is just walking each other home. And I suppose in that sense then everyone's a coach, whether it's a parent, a teacher, a friend, a fellow coach. And I love that expression that a coach can only take you as far as they've been, because it takes all shapes and sizes. And I think a lot of great coaches are people, and excuse me for my French, but that have been through the most shit. Because they when somebody goes through a dark time, they've been there, they know what it looks like, they know what it feels like. And coaching comes from leadership, and a Latin of leader would translate it the light bearer. And it was somebody that held up the light for other people in the dark. And it's like, right, okay, let's walk side by side. Because I know it's dark now for you, I've been there, but I also know where the light is, and it's about that connection, forming that connection between coach and client and human to human.
It's powerful, man. Thank you, Ken.
many different avenues, but it's giving somebody back their power, because so many times we lose power along the way. We fall into this whole belief system that we should be doing all new things for everybody else, and so often, like, if people come to me, they're like, their mind is just totally open, and be like, I actually can do it. And I think you actually give somebody the chance to change their life. And a wee girl said to me the other day, I think this is the moment. And I was like, what do you mean? And she says, this is the turning point, this is the shift, the changing point. And if you can hold a space for simply someone to be listened to, because most of all, that's what it is, it all comes, the most amazing thing about being a coach is that you don't do anything, you allow every single thing to come from them. And they walk away empowered, inspired, and they're just ready to just take on a whole new level. And to go on that pathway with somebody is one of the most special journeys. And for me, yeah, it's giving somebody back a second chance at life, to say, you know what, no matter what I've been through, I can go again. And yeah, like, you're so right, everybody should have a coach. Like, even us sitting in the format of it, I still need a coach. I've been to therapy all my years, and like, as soon as I went into the coaching field, like, this whole self-discovery was upon me, and like, it's changed my whole life. So yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks, Eva. It's funny that Shawnee's here because he actually coached me. I went to see him whenever I was at a transition. I was struggling in my life, and he sort of set me on the right path, which is cool that he's here. But for me, coaching really, folks, it's about trying to help somebody unlock their full personal potential. So it's trying to help them to learn, to grow, to develop, and to improve themselves in whatever area of life that is. And I feel the best coaches out there are really good at asking questions, probing questions, are excellent at active listening, so listening with empathy and compassion. They're also really self-aware about who they are and the journey that they're on, and also really good at being adaptable too. Because coaching, there's no blueprint, there's no manual. I think it's all about that human connection and having that holistic approach of a whole person. And if you look at coaching in a Gaelic Games aspect or a sporting aspect, you're trying to make that person the best player they can be. But really it's about trying to make them the best person that they can be. Because I'm not going to pigeonhole anybody as, you know, you're Donald Nugent, the Antrim hurler. You're Donald Nugent, the person who just happens to play hurling for Antrim. And it's all about that person, that people focused. So coaching for me is trying to help somebody unlock their full personal potential.
Unbelievable stuff. Thank you. I'm not sure about yourselves, but a lot of what was discussed there, I still feel are core values of sport and coaching. When I have these kids in front of me, I want to create an environment where they can grow, where they can learn, where they can explore. I don't give them the answers. With different games put out for them to try and figure things out themselves. We guide them. We guide them through a journey of exploration. In these cases, it may be a skill. It may be putting superhero clothes on and learning how they jump best, how they'll defend the ball best as a superhero. It's about creating an environment where someone can explore. They can see what's challenging, and then showing them you can move forward and helping them believe that themselves. So, my next big question, someone I've got asked every day, here's the ICF, the Irish Coaching Federation definition of coaching. That's a wee quote for you. My next question, that's the question I've been asked by, I'd say 99% of people who've heard of me leaving teaching is, why? Why the hell are you giving up the most steady job, a job you've done from the day and hour you've left college, a job you love, you have a bond with the kids like we've never seen, a bond with your staff, you're like a family. Why would you, and people have used the word, give all that up for a risk to go out on your own? And tonight, for the first time, I want to tell my why. And before I do, I just want to make you aware that this could be a wee bit tight. people may be triggered and some of the things that I'm saying. Don't feel under any pressure whatsoever to stay and listen to everything. If anyone feels that things are getting a wee bit much or certain thoughts are coming to mind, feel free without any judgment whatsoever to take 5, take 10 if you need to outside. And before I jump into this one, I want to thank those closest to me and family in particular, because it's going to be a hard lesson for them. I asked them to come round the house last Thursday because a lot of them would be here in this. I didn't want a lot of them to hear what I'm going to share tonight for the first time in a public setting. And the reason I'm doing it, I suppose, is to hopefully empower others and help others not get just as deep as I want to go in today. So here we go. Here we go, folks. So my why. This picture is an absolute mask. This is me, June 2016. Era, firstborn, love my life, was 3 months old. 3 days prior to this picture being taken, I collapsed in school. Jace, who's like my second big sister, helped carry me out of my classroom alongside the principal pillow while my body was getting sharp fitting. I was in and out of consciousness, and the next thing I remember was waking up in a CT scan and wondering where the hell I was, what was going on. Had to speak again. what had happened. Last thing we were doing a Michael Miles exercise. And everything of it just continued to be a blur until myself and Kira, who had Era in her arms, were brought in a side room. I remember told, Michael, Chair, we've got really good news, You have got a brain tumour. You haven't collapsed with a brain tumour there. And at that point, naturally, looked at Kira looked at me and were like, it's just happened the past few hours, where have I been? I don't know if I've been here. And that was the first moment in my life, I suppose, that cloak of invincibility, that someone who's been used to being captains of most teams have taken, being a leader in a classroom as a school teacher, being someone who in his family would have been the go-to if something was wrong, something needed fixed. That would be my responsibility, and the first time in my life I felt that invincibility cloak was gone, and I didn't know what to do. And my next question to the doctor was, can I go to Kerry on Thursday, because my under 14 team are pinning me on and feel it. And they just looked perplexed and said, Michael, you're staying in hospital, and the only way you'll get out of hospital is to go up to the house for a day or two until we have a specialist neurologist coming into the property at your brain scans, and we'll have more tests to do you. And basically that was it. I got sent home soon after, and that was the hardest part. The 5 days of waiting on what result was going to come your way. My father and my brother Kieran actually stepped in for me, and they took the lads down to the field, and the only reason I took this picture was to show the lads that I was okay. I want to send my daddy this picture because I didn't tell them that I wasn't going until we were halfway down the road on the bus, because and it just says, look, he couldn't make it. Someone came up and he couldn't make it. He wanted to make sure they saw this photo, suppose, to ensure that he was safe and was alright. So this is a mask I took at the morning. That was 3 days after the event took place, and I hadn't slept a wink in them 3 days. I just thought, basically, I'm being told that I'm gone early, I'm being written off, I'm gone early, I'm finished. I've waited 6 weeks before an MRI, and I've racked my absolute knee. I've been put through more wards and more machines in that hospital than most people do in a lifetime. But there is definitely something up here that doesn't happen for no reason. So I just spiraled and went into absolute mental turmoil, and was thinking best case scenario, worst case scenario. There still was no best case scenario where I didn't see my life completely changing. and me as a human being completely changing. But anyway, the boys went down to the field, and on the field, and this should be the most happy photo and one of the most memorable, for a different reason, photos that I have. But I'm not sure if it's clear for those who don't really know me. If you know me and you're looking at me in my daddy's face, you look in my eyes, skin, I think it's the first time I showered in 5 days, even my beard. Do we look like two people there who've worked with teams in Sarsfields for 12 years and support them to win an All-Ireland medal? Kids who didn't believe in Gaelic football, never went that they would be All-Ireland winners one day. This should have been the proudest and still was. But I had no emotions in me to give, and I know from my daddy there too, we were just thinking Monday on what results were going to come. That even this greatest, praise of all for kids from RRA, from West Belfast, they will for the rest of their lives turn around and say, I'm an All-Ireland winner. I'm an All-Ireland winner. My parents did not play for Ireland. My parents didn't come state with GAD and I have an All-Ireland medal. Many people in this country can say that. But as you see with the face, we're both lost. We're both lost, both families. And Monday came about, and Monday was the best news I ever could have got. The best news I ever could have got. The brain scans came back completely fine. I was 100%. This had all come about because of stress, exhaustion, pressure. I had basically broken I put my body under that amount of pressure, and my mind under so much pressure that I had nowhere else to go. Instead of mommy telling me for years, you need to slow down. The cleaners in work saying, you're gonna fall down, you can't just go from school to go up and take a team in Sarbies and then play your own senior match and then come home again and survive. And to me, I didn't hear that. That was all just noise. None of that mattered. I was me. I was invincible. I was healthy. Barely drank. As healthy as to come. Invincible, as I say. I was the glue, the fixer of my family. I'm the one who fixes the problems. And yet here was someone telling me, you're grand. You're 100%. And I just couldn't believe it, she told me. And it sounded really strange to people that haven't got that news that I wasn't on cloud nine and was just buzzing. And I was for that instant. But I just kept starting. Day by day, week by week. I was thinking, even my son, that doesn't happen in the hospital. You don't get rushed about it again without something serious being wrong. Every time I got a bit of a sore head, I was like, that's it, man. I must have missed that wee spot. That's that tumour there, and I must have the way I was there. And I literally did not sleep. I was getting maybe half an hour, most nights, blamed it again with something else, like that's here crying during the night, that's what's keeping me up. Now I'm going to do anything else. Until it got to the point where I was so anxious and worried that I couldn't leave the house. I left for maybe half an hour 10 with Kieran here, and we would have went somewhere really secluded. We would have walked in the likes of Shaw's Bridge and then made sure no one was watching, and we came back home, and that was it. Betrayed them, I had a holiday booked in the Sleep Donner down Newcastle, one of my happy places, place of love. And I couldn't go on the holiday without my parents going with me, like Jake. And they went, of course, no bother. And even that was no good. 3 o'clock in the morning, I remember running out of the down the corridor, beating down their door, and just saying that my heart's going to explode here, my heart's going to explode. I remember just sitting at the side of their bed, shaking, and it was at that point things really hit home to me. And I said to them, I think I need help here. I know I'm usually the one helping out, but there's something ain't right here. And I know the doctor told me, the neurologist told me I'm 100%, but I'm not here. And at that point, I set the wheels in motion, and I arranged an appointment with a GP who's incredible, a lady called Aisling Farley, who is the best mental health GP that there is out there. She's incredible. People talked before about working with a person as opposed to a patient or a player. That's Aisling Farley. I started counselling with a man some of you may know called Joe Barnes, who again is the very, very best at this game. Just gets it, just got it. I started yoga for the first time. A lady called Jackie Morris, who again was outstanding. I was just willing to fight and do whatever it was going to take to change my mindset, to get out of this hyper state, which was later diagnosed as anxiety and depression. I was anxious for so long that when my body dipped, it dipped to a low where it was impossible to get out of in my head, in my mind. I fought against trying medication because it just wasn't for me. It would be very, very anti-medication. But things got to a point where literally I would have tried anything. You could have asked me to do anything, and if I felt it was going to change how I was feeling, I was going to be able to get it. I remember one night my auntie Liz, who's here, actually brought me to her house and patted my head like a child. And he read me wee poems and stuff and tucked me in bed to try and get me a night's sleep, to try and convince me it wasn't because of Ira in the house, that there was other stuff going on. And this just got worse and worse, to be honest with you. No matter what I was trying, it was just getting worse and worse and worse. To the point where, at my deepest point, I came home from massaging and I said to my mother, I said, Mommy, I can understand now why someone would feel the need to take their own life. Before that, I could never get my head around it. It was alien. It was, to me, never an option. And at the end of August of 2016, it was an option for me. And it was an option that was trying to drag me in. It was an option that, at times, would have been easy to take, to be honest with you. I remember sharing this from a moment, and as broken and as hurt as she was, she just kept that face, that same face of strength, strongest woman I've ever known. She said, "It's alright. It's okay. It's okay. It's an option. It's alright. It's alright. You're going to be alright. You're going to be alright." And for the next 3 days, she didn't have me ever sick, to the point where I was just about to start back to work. And it's the first time I've been in the house on my own. Kier went to school early that morning. I ran out of the house, freaking out being on my own. I went in, and God helped my parents that morning. I can remember just talking to Lottie and saying, "Lottie, look, no matter what happens to me ever in future or at any point, please know you are the best that there could ever be. You have given me everything, every tool, every bit of love. There's no one better, no one better." And over the mummy as well, and just said it to him at that point, said, "Look, I'm broke here." I think at one point I was actually punching my head saying, "I'm effed up." And that's why I won't be a fan of the term mental health, because I felt like I was mental. I felt mentally gone away. And I remember that at that point, just grabbing me and saying, "Fix him. Fix him. Please fix him. Please fix him." And Mummy says, "He's going to be okay. He's going to be okay." And she took me up to the bed, lay in a wee bed again, like a child again, tried to calm me down from shaking and worrying. And later went up to school, and she walked side by side me around school. I'm sure the art teachers hadn't a clue what was going on. But she had me set up. I might have set one up that day, thank God. I was in the room. Jade, Sinead, and Carrie, Teddy there. I'm shouting at them wall displays now. She had me put up wall displays. I think she put them up, to be honest with you. And that day, I don't know what it was, but I got chatting with a few others in school. I don't know what the hell I saw on them or what conversation. It was just general conversations, and I can remember talking to a few of them. And at least two of them said to me, "I went through something similar." And they were like, "When did you come out of it?" I was like, "I haven't." That's what my mummy said to me. So mommy will let me ever say. And that was my turning point. That was my turning point. I can't put my finger on what happened, where. But the next day I got up and went into school. And I meditated in my wee storeroom. The principal actually called me down about 2 months later after it, just opened the door and went, and closed it again and ran back out. But yeah, I did a wee bit of meditating, a wee cup of tea, and I talked with a big frog in my voice to kids. They must have known, jeez, talking to me all like, we got off the day, and I just built it up. Thankfully, we started different half days, and all the parents hated it, but I was absolutely loving it that year. And I eased myself back into it. And it took me, I'd say, up to probably Halloween before I felt like this again. There's not one photo, there's not one other photo of me between that photo you seen of me and my daddy till here. And as you can see, that's the joy that there should have been when a group of kids who you believed in so much won an all-Ireland title. And the biggest thing I can think of around that time, what really put me through it, was this word and this feeling. So there's obviously a number of Gaelgoers out there, and even the ones from the school will know this is my word. Anyone who played under me will know this is my word, courage. I haven't shared this story with them. I haven't shared this story with many. There was only 3 people who knew this story up until last Thursday, really. Others knew parts of it, but no one knew in its depth. But I'm ready to do it. And I surround myself with this word courage. So that's the Ireland wearing his courage jersey. That's the Ireland medallion. Actually, when I'm walking with these boots and I had courage on it, and it was clear in my head. And the Gaelgoers have used me in translating what does courage mean. Shout out. Believe. Okay, it means believe. And I don't know what happened at what point. I can't put my finger on it. Still to this day, can't put my finger on it. But I got to a point where I finally believed I'm going to be better. I'm going to get back to where I was at. I'm better again. I'm going to be wiser for it. I'm going to be stronger for it. I'm going to come back with all this experience. And what I will say is, I'm so fortunate to have the support network around me that I have. If I hadn't had that, I know without any doubt in my mind, this would be a very, very different picture. A very, very different picture. When people think about, there's Meagle or Meagle Jury, you get them booklets for kids, getting kids interacting with their parents. He does them booklets where kids are writing about their favourite traits about themselves. That was all about trying to create the relationships that I felt I was lucky to have. Getting families to open up a bit more together. Talking about your emotions, talking about your feelings. Simply asking your kid how to get on in school, how to feel. And that was my small way of doing it. I carried on then through the storybooks, taking it to the next level, feeling hopefully encouraging more kids to try Gaelic games, because this is the culture. To me, it is the best culture to do it with. I'm moving into life and performance coaching, I truly believe, is the next natural step in my journey, and my journey moving forward. The past 7 years in school, and I honestly, this might sound crazy to some of you, I am so thankful for going through what I went through. And that's slightly selfish on what my family had to go through during that time. But me, see to be in a position now that I'll understand and recognise some of the traits. If my sons are ever there, if my wife's there, if my mates are there, some of the lads in our club would have reached out to me 1-3 o'clock in the morning, I remember one thing. Others, in the evenings, that they felt comfortable enough opening up to me about things bigger than football. I would go through that again if I needed to know I can support more people in that way. The difference between life and performance coaching and what I was doing before I was the fixer. Before I had to fix everything. When I relayed back the months that led up to this, one of my siblings had cancer that I couldn't fix. like one of my siblings had a major breakup after a marriage year that I couldn't fix. Being out of power, control, something I was always used to, I felt guilty for it. Anytime I couldn't fix something, I felt guilty for it. It's up to me, I'm the fixer, that's my role, that's my identity. When that's taken away, you're nothing. And that's how I live life. I live for perfection. I live striving for perfection. If anyone knows perfection in this room, you know it doesn't exist. You can strive for it, but it doesn't exist. Where now I live a life of living. A life where I try and make the difference that I can through empowering other people that believe in themselves. Coaching is non-directive. I don't think I need to fix anyone. Through coaching, I'm providing an environment where they can ask questions, I can ask questions back, where they can talk and I can listen. But ultimately, it's up to the person sitting in front of you or the group of people in front of you to take that where they want to. I can't do it for them. That's very empowering for me, for someone who was used to thinking, you have to fix people. 2 months into the coaching workshop, in my coaching qualification, I remember ringing Mommy and saying, Mommy, I'm done with this. I'm done with this, isn't for me. One of the ladies in the course that broke down, and I unmuted. And I said, you're an amazing person, don't dare talk yourself down, you're a legend. I'm sending you hugs across this. I'm sending you hugs now. Will you ever talk yourself down? And it took me off me, like, Michael Jordan, lovely sentiments, lovely sentiments. But this just would be coaching, coaching. Sort of just sit back and facilitate, and and for sure, she'll feel good about that. But I get off. It stormed out. I started, here, stop this. Sadly, that Kelly will put me on this. Mark Harker did. I just said that Hammond was in a pillow there, for God's sake. And then a penny dropped. Through me saying that, may have made that lady feel empowered and good for that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even after. But she needed to feel worthy. She needed herself to feel that it was okay to be where she was at and to pick herself up. That's what carries the lasting power. And that's what I hope to do through this journey. I want to help people courage. I want to help people believe. I want to help people from any background, in any situation, sports, performance, business, daily life, believe. Believe that they can overcome any obstacle that's thrown in front of them. And I'm going to give it my absolute heart and soul. Because I know if 7 years ago I'd had someone to try this sort of service out with, I might hit the lows that I did. So it's definitely worth fighting for, and I definitely encourage. So thank you so much for listening. This is one of my most prized possessions. So I have all Iron winning team. This hangs up on my wall, and I still get emotional every time I read it. This is a story about hope. And when I read what these young lads at 14 years of age had said about me, and they felt I'd given them hope, not just in life, to do whatever they felt. They didn't see any limit for themselves. They didn't see an All-Ireland titles being something crazy. Because I believed enough in them. I showed enough belief in them that they believed themselves. And that was something I'll always carry on. And I just want to give a wee gift to 3 people. As much as everyone was instrumental during that journey, there were 3 people who lived with it every single day of my life, and they give me more hope than I could do them ever justice for. And I want to present them a wee gift now, and one in particular is going to kill me. Kira says I'm allowed to mention her name, so I have to. So Kira, Mommy and Liz, I'd love you to just a wee gesture here, please. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me hope.
Don't you be crying now, I'll cry. It's powerful, isn't it? Okay. You could have heard a pin drop. You could have heard a pin drop. I'll tell you what, he's a great speaker. He's very, I'll articulate and calm, and you know, holds it very well. I think it's hard to believe this is a launch night. You would think he's doing this years. Even though it's all set up.
We're all good now. We're now going to move on to the next part of the session, and this really is the well-being side of the session, and two things that really stood out for me, and this is the reason I'm opening up and sharing, because I no one to relate to. I no one I could resonate with. 7 years ago, anytime I heard mental health, I was thinking about addiction. I was thinking about great tragedies, and I was saying, I have the perfect life. Like, I've literally the best family in the world, unbelievable wife, just had a son, an amazing wee group of All-Ireland winning players, the best staff, best school. Literally, if you could rate your perfect life, that was it. So it couldn't resonate to anyone. I want to show what anxiety looked like to me, and more importantly, with my guest here, I'm going to show a few tools and how we dealt with it, because I would have loved to have known this 7 years ago. So I think it's only right that, having gone through that difficult period, that I can turn it into strength, where I can empower others, and having gone through that, hopefully support other people, not to maybe hit the pits that I hit. Okay? So to me, when I think of anxiety, I think of a match. So if you think of this match, it's doing no harm. Absolutely no harm. Let's take a thought. We've up to around 60,000 thoughts a day. And that's your match floating about. The second you strike that match, that's like you giving a thought emotion. You're drawing emotion out of thought. And more times than that, for a lot of us, that's a negative thought. And that, to me, could have started off as, Jesus, I've got a sore head. All right? Something not right here. And that's that night. Start with a negative thought. But if I then feed fuel to that match, and that could be going, I have a sore head here. There's definitely something wrong with me. The doctors have missed something. No, this isn't right. This isn't, no, that's not just a normal sore head. No, there's something really, really wrong here. What am I going to do? The more I feed fuel to it, the more that fire's growing. The more the anxiety was taking over my body, the more my thought pattern was getting totally disjointed and going to a scary place. Until so much that I got here to the forest fire, where I was saying, I'm going to die. I haven't got long left here. Kira's going to have to move back to Calif with Irla. My mummy and daddy don't drive. How are they going to see Irla? What's Kira going to do? That's where you go. That's where you go. That's where your mind takes you. That's where my mind would have taken me. And I thought this fire was uncontrollable. I couldn't keep it under control. It kept growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. But through a lot of work I've done, and I see that thought, that initial match, as the first step. And if you can catch that match, that first initial thought, what can you do with a match? What do you do with a match? You can blow it out. Okay? So if you can catch that early on, before you spiral, you're absolutely flying. I'm still working on that one. 7 years in. But I get there, and I have used it from time to time. I channel my thoughts another way. I see it, I recognise it, and go, not today, son. And I turn around and start thinking of something more positive. Think of an anchor. Think of something that brings me different emotions. But a lot of the time, it does go that bit deeper. And when it does, it requires a wee bit more energy. Sometimes it requires a big bit more energy, but it can still be extinguished. I can still dispel those emotions, be it with distractions, be it with the power of music, meditation, you name it. Time with friends, laughter. I'm very lucky. One of my best mates is the most horrific slagger you'll ever meet in your life, yet he's the most sentimental person you'll meet in your life. So you hit all these highs and lows every day with him anyway. But it's up to us to find that extinguisher, and sometimes it takes a bit more force and a bit more power. And even the worst of forest fires, I mean, we've seen plenty in the news, some horrific ones in Canada, Australia, they all come to an end at the end. I'm sure there was a time during it where we felt this is never going to stop, but they all burn out at some point in the end. Now, in those cases, it's going to take a different level of support. You may need support. Here we've got the water helicopter, we've got people on the ground. That could be using different avenues of support. It could be chatting to one of the likes of ourselves. It could be joining a meditation group. It's up to you. As I found during then, you try everything you can, because this matters too much. This matters too much. But the beautiful thing is, the most beautiful, beautiful thing, is that even in the darkest of ashes and embers, there'll be growth. And that's how I feel right now. It's taken me 7 years. That wee seedling's been lying under there for a good way, but he's grown. I've never been as calm getting into a major event in my life as I was tonight, because this means so, so much to me. And I truly believe that I've grown so much stronger to the point that I'm in a strong enough place. I haven't been up until now where I feel I can support others and be okay myself without giving too much to me, to them. And that's a powerful place to be. So no matter where things are at, there's always space for growth. And you'll grow back so much stronger. You'll be experienced and know what's there, and have the toolkit built to deal with it. So think of your match, think of your fire, but think of that wee tree, and think how high he's going to grow and how far he's going to spread, because that's me. He's gone really, really far. I want to see the forest he's going to be here next year. What do you see? You may be one of them wee trees, hopefully. Okay. So for the next wee part of this, I just love to invite our guests basically to chat a wee bit about anxiety, how you would deal with it, but really where anxieties come from in your life. And this may be from a performance perspective, this may be from a personal perspective. I just think sharing and hearing that you're not the only one feeling that way is helpful. So Aaron, if you're happy enough starting off, buddy, thank you.
First, I just want to say how powerful that was there, Michael Jordan, to stand up there and be vulnerable and tell your story like that.
Thank you, mate.
It's really, really something. So
thank you, mate. Thank you.
Anxiety for me, folks, suppose because I come from a sporting background, like I tie that to sport or to hurling, and I look at performance anxiety, and I suppose whenever you're going out to perform to the best of your ability on a pitch, you want to portray confidence. But I don't care how confident you are or how confident you appear, everybody, and I mean every single person in this room, has that inner voice of self-doubt. And it's really trying to understand, do you let that inner voice take over, or can you dampen that their inner voice down? Some people call them wee chimp, some people call them names, whatever way you want to put it. Everybody has it. And anxiety for me is all about fear. Fear of letting yourself down, fear of not being good enough, and a lot of the time it's about comparing yourself to others. Yeah. And I suppose society now, with social media and Instagram and filters on everything, people are doing that a lot. And in the performance sporting arena, you're looking at somebody in your team, he's fitter than me, stronger than me, bigger than me, faster than me. But it's really about how can you control your control. And the way I like to explain it is, you're going on a journey in a car. Some people let fear and anxiety and stress drive that car, and you're in the back seat as a passenger, have no control over where the car's going. But it's how you can frame it and flip it, that you're actually driving the car. And fear and anxiety, they can come along for the ride if they want, but they're in the back seat and they have to shut up. I'm driving, and wherever I'm going, I'm in control. And even if you think that word fear, F-E-A-R, face everything and rise. So the next time you're feeling anxious or fearful or worried or stressed, just embrace it,
I guess what I really learned about the journey of suicide is that as a 13-year-old little girl, I was left with all of these answers to no questions. So I had all these questions in my head thinking, why my dad? Why did he take me? Or why did he go? Like, why was I left with all of this? And why has this happened to me? That question, why has this happened to me, haunted me for so many years, until the pivotal moment on my journey. I started to realise it hasn't happened to me, it's happened for me. And when my dad died, I hadn't got the answer, so I had to make something up myself. So I started to believe that there was something wrong with me. And my dad gave me absolutely everything. Like, I had 13 precious years with him. I was just the apple of his eye, and likewise. And the last time he put me to bed was the last time I seen him, and he told me, "Night, I love you." And that was the last I ever seen him. And my mind, because of trauma, switched that I was so traumatized, so I took responsibility that it was something to do with me. And I started to feel like I wasn't good enough, that I was so unloved and neglected and rejected. So I started to make up this story in my head that the death of my dad was something to do with me. So initially, fear kicked in, and I started my journey at 13 looking outside of myself, looking for all of these things to fill that hole in my soul, which was the essence of who I was. I totally lost myself as a person because I lost the most important person in my life. And at such a young age, I took somewhat responsibility for nothing that was completely out of my control. But it's just an example how trauma can change everything in your life and how fear kicked in. I become really fearful and anxious and thought that everything external would give me all the love that I was really craving. And it wasn't until I started to deal with it and I started going to psychology till I realised that in actual fact I was just grieving. And I suppose when you hear that voice, for me it's the voice of that little girl. So for me now, like when fear creeps in or anxiety creeps in, and like we have one of the most powerful tools in the world, and that's our breath. And at 18, the first thing I learned in therapy was how to breathe properly. And it's as simple as just taking a breath and asking, what is anxiety actually representing? What's going on inside of me? Because for me, I lost my body, so I started to run outside of myself and found it so hard to just sit still. And it was only till I started to actually breathe, meditate, do yoga, be in my body, I started to realise that I can calm myself in a matter of 5 or 10 seconds by simply doing my breathing. But that's an example how fear and anxiety can ripple you. It can take over your whole life. But the power is in the breath. And when you actually befriend, so the fear now to me is just a scared little child. It's just some part of me that's triggered into not feeling good enough, or something within me has just been triggered. But if I can just take 5 seconds to breathe and ask that little girl what she needs, or to learn to love myself, or to give back to her, that's when the fear and anxiety goes, because I'm actually honouring that part of me inside of me, and I'm loving myself again. Probably the parts of me that I didn't love. But for me, that little voice in your head is just a frightened little child who doesn't feel like they're good enough, or have experienced somewhat trauma or belief system that is running their story just like mine. But it came to a point where I had to change the story. I had to write a new story, a story of love and power for myself. And I'm so lucky that I'm now on the other side and have my dad guiding me, protecting me, and in the most beautiful place to do so. But I guess in a roundabout way, fear is just a frightened little part of you who wants you to listen. So go back home to your little soul we all have that inner child inside of us. Never neglect them, because they will guide you home. They will be the person that needs you most, and you need them. You can't do the journey without your little inner child. So come home to them and look after it.
Well done. That was very powerful. Very proud of you. I think I'm as shocked as you are that I'm your childhood friend sitting here. Me and Michael Gerard were friends at Riverdale from maybe P7 or first year, and as we're 15 as Michael Gerard started excelling in Gaelic football, I started excelling in binge drinking. And very lucky to be here, but because at times just it was very self-destructive. I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know what any emotion was, to be honest with you. It wasn't allowed to be talked about in my house. It was very much, boys don't cry, and that's it. End of story. And I didn't for about 30 years. There was, in terms of emotional intelligence, it wasn't a thing. You didn't speak about your feelings, and that's it. You get up and get on with it. And I think now, looking back, the drinking and the getting into trouble and with school and all the rest of it was me trying to escape that uncomfortable feeling that anxiety undoubtedly has. Thankfully, Greta will laugh at this one. I met Stacey when I was about 17, my now wife. And despite the fact that I'm 6'4" and a former international powerlifter, that is nothing in comparison to a woman from Nanadon. She's got me on the straight now. Being right hook. Anxiety, I didn't know what anxiety was. I always had negative coping mechanisms, whether it was drink or just escapism, going out for days on end and not coming home, not going to school, just that path that unfortunately sometimes we go down when we don't have the emotional maturity that we should have. Thankfully, at a certain age, I realised, okay, well, the drinking and that is a way to cope. It's a coping mechanism, albeit it's a negative one, but it's still a coping mechanism. I wonder could I find one that's maybe less negative, or maybe even positive. And I started getting into training, started getting into exercise, I got into powerlifting, and it gave me focus, it gave me discipline, it gave me almost like a regimental mindset where it's seeing incremental increases, and I thought, all right, okay. And then I got to the stage where I was thinking, is this an escape as well? I'm just jumping 2 feet into all these things, but now in my 30s and I have no idea what an emotion is, or why I'm angry, or why this. And at 33 I was diagnosed with PTSD, where I was just diagnosed that I was told you may not feel certain feelings, but I decided to try and look at the holistic approach to it, but I didn't know what that was. And by pure fluke, I don't believe in coincidence, I went to a big powerlifting competition and busted a blood vessel squatting, busted a blood vessel in my left eye, and somebody said to me, go to the sea, get into the salt water, because the salt will, I looked like Elephant Man, a black eye, and it was pus coming out. He said, I'll clean it, and I'll take the swelling and the inflammation down. So 5 years ago, on the 21st of December, I went to Helen's Bay, and I walked into the water simply to clean my eye out, some form of physical recovery. And for the first time in my life, I experienced silence. It was just completely alien to me. I had never experienced that peace of mind as an adult. And I remember thinking, what is this? Wow. Like, what is this? Is this some form of awakening? Is this mindfulness? Is this meditation? I had no idea. I simply didn't know. And I went home and said that something happened. So my wife booked me a swim a week later, just over a week later, on New Year's Day, for Cancer Focus down in Crawfordsburn. Same sort of thing. I felt present. I felt I was getting out of my head, and I felt alive. Is probably the best way to describe it. And I thought, right, okay, this works. I need to continue to explore this. And I went every day for a year, mostly by myself. Got up early, ran barefoot on the beach and got into the water. And that year, that was my pivotal change. And I suppose what the cold water done was it really humbled me. It forced me into a state of presence. It's probably what I needed. I needed forced into that state of feeling alive, being present. But as Aoife alluded to as well, I started to understand my breath for the first time. I run around this anxious mess my whole life, not realising what anxiety was. It was always tight-chested. I used to walk about looking for bins because I constantly thought I was going to be sick with knots in my stomach. And in the cold water, I had to learn to breathe. I had to learn to slow my breath down. And that was my pivotal change of understanding anxiety. I realised then in the cold sea that I was in control of it as opposed to it controlling me. And I did that through the breath. And I thought, people need to experience this. And I went off then to train as a breathwork instructor. I just got fascinated how I could reduce my anxiety, my stress, how I could start to feel again, just feel different emotions simply by controlling the breath. And it's a powerful tool. Tonight's all about well-being and a holistic approach to it. So Michael George kind of offered that for a couple of minutes we're going to do a breathing exercise together. I suppose the rationale behind that is that it's maybe a tool for you to take home where if parenting gets tough, if there's a traffic jam, if an email doesn't go your way, whatever it may be, then maybe you can focus on the breath and reduce the anxiety. So what I'm going to get you to do is I want everyone just to simply get comfortable. If you're a bit warm, take a jacket off. If you need to stretch beforehand, do it. But in about 15 seconds, just to breathe a certain way. So please just get comfortable in the meantime. So anxiety is of course a feeling in the body, and for me it was that tightness in the stomach and the upper half of the chest. And so what I want you to do is just a little exercise, is just to take one breath in for me, just a big breath. And then let it out through the mouth. So put your hands up if you felt that when you were breathing in, your ribs and your shoulders kind of moved up with you. And that happens to a lot of people. That's when we're stuck in that sympathetic state, that fight or flight, that our body moves up with us. But this time what I want you to do is to breathe in through your nose, but I want you to breathe into the belly. Even push the belly out. So another big breath in. And then just let it out. And this is all we're going to do. We're going to practice a certain breathing technique called the recovery breath. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes for me and just relax. And I want you to take your next breath in through your nose for a count of 4 seconds. And then out through the mouth for a count of 6. I just want you to keep your eyes closed, your body relaxed. And the breath is going to come in through the nose. And then a slightly longer exhale. We want to just use the breath to scan the body. Releasing the tension from the shoulders, the spine, the hips. Just keeping that nice natural rhythm going of in for 4 and then out through the mouth for a count of 6. And we'll just use the power of the mind with that. We'll use visualization or imagination, and as you continue with that breath, I just want you to visualize yourself on a beach. Your bare feet on the sand. The noise of the waves in the ocean. And I just want you to look out towards the stormy sea. Life can get chaotic at times, it can get overwhelming, it can become frustrating, it can appear as if we have no control whatsoever. And when life gets like that, we can always remember that the one thing we can control is the breath. It's the first thing we do when we enter the world, and it's the last thing we do when we leave. And I want you to look out to that sea, realizing that all the tough days you've had so far in life, you've passed them. You're still here. Maybe that's a miracle in itself. Maybe trying to control everything was the reason you feel overwhelmed in the first place. Actually, I want you to picture your front door of the current home that you live in. I want you to see the door, the colour of it, even the number on the door. And I want you to make a decision that when you walk through that door tonight, you're going to step into a better version of yourself. We get these opportunities to walk through these doors every day. You just need to see them. And if you walk in through the front door, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. What would you tell yourself? If you were able to have one last conversation with yourself, what would you say? Maybe it would be to stop being held back by fear, to stop playing small. Maybe you would say that I am enough. Maybe you would tell yourself that now is the time to shine. And I want you to tell yourself that. I want you to feel it, feel the excitement, feel the courage, feel the confidence, feel the power. These are all the opposite of fear and anxiety and overwhelm. If self-doubt exists, then so must self-belief. And then just gently open your eyes. Thank you.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. And so many different takeaways, I suppose, from all three people there. And to sort of close this wellness side, I'm going to ask one further question. Everyone, as you really pointed out, Kieran, you're looking out in that ocean. There's going to be challenging times. There's going to be high tides. There's going to be choppy waters. But I'd like to ask you, when do you feel that you identified that you'd grown in resilience? What did that growth look like? What did it feel like? Where did it come about? What helped you to get there? What brought that mindset about? Eve, is it okay to start with you?
I guess for me, I built resilience when I was like, I traveled the world in sport. I was captain of the team, and I broke down at my football match, and I held my hands up and said that I needed help. And the next day, I was at the doctor's, and I was diagnosed with, like, I always say 3 things happened. Like, I was listened to, which is powerful. I was diagnosed with depression, not so powerful, and I was given a little white box of antidepressants. And I totally am not against medication, and I really needed it at that time. But I also knew that if I was going to do that journey in life and to get where I was going to do it the holistic way. And my dad's brother came to my house 3 weeks later, and 3 things happened. He handed me a white piece of paper. So I had a white box and a white piece of paper. He believed in me, so he listened and looked me in the eyes and told me that I could do it. And he said, "You'll ring this number when you're ready. No pressure. It's up to you." And there I was left with a white box of antidepressants or a number of a psychologist. And in a matter of seconds, I sat down the box and lifted the number. And I think for me, that was the pivotal moment in my life that changed forever, because I held my hands up. I realised I needed help to get better, but I realised I was going to do it, and I was going to face whatever there was to come, that I was going to be stronger and out the other side, and that one day I was going to tell the story that no matter what you go through in life, that you can get out the other side. And I'm so lucky now that I've got out that other side, that I can talk about my dad with love and compassion for him, and that he's with me. And I think that was it then. It was just, and it was no way easy. I faced some of the darkest days of my life, but it was one step at a time. It was like, instead of the voice of fear, it was that whisper, one more time, let's go again, I believe in you. And I think it's just stripping it all back, the one day at a time, and believing in yourself, and knowing that you have the power inside of yourself. And the moment that I empowered myself to go back to therapy, to learn, to grieve, I started to build strength within myself, and the resilience just kept growing and growing as the fear and the grief all went down. So that was it for me.
Absolutely amazing.
Kieran, Mr. Natural Resilience. Have to with the word. Have to. Sorry, Aaron, to get there.
I think for me, you don't appreciate how resilient you've become until after.
Yeah.
You know, I think, again, if we go back to the water, you know, when you're going through a storm, you're just concentrating on going through the storm. You're not thinking, oh, I'm developing these skills, I'm developing resilience, I'm developing my character. You're just trying to survive the storm sometimes, and it's maybe not until after even the inevitability of another storm comes that you go, okay, I'm better equipped to deal with this. And then what you tend to realise is that you are in fact better equipped to deal with these storms. You know, you are the skilled sailor, so to speak. The storms seem to have caused less havoc on your ship, on your life. And so it's probably after, you know, I do kind of, even sitting here today, for me this is resilience. It's that growth, it's that emotional intelligence to have conversations like this. I'm very, very passionate about it. I did a lot of work with young men, 18 to 21, Twin Brook and Co-class, and there was one of them who just lit up the room. Just a kid with so much potential, this big smile, great at football, worked 2 jobs, was great at his studies, and he took his own life in August a couple of years back. And it really impacted me. I remember going to his funeral and seeing hundreds of kids crying, and there's just something in my mind that it was just weird. You know, I think in the circle of life, you almost accept when you're grandparent, albeit it's hard, but with these kids, I just couldn't get my head around it. And unfortunately, 2 of his friends did the same thing within 6 months. And so how natural resilience was born was I used to take them down into the sea to get them into the cold water as well. I used to take them to Wallace Park in Lisburn in the winter, and they had to be at the car park for 5:30 a.m. That was it. It was getting up early, stop lying in bed, get up early. And we used to put our flip-flops on the side of the pitch, and we used to run around in the icy pitch, maybe did 12 laps of the pitch, which I think was a kilometre. And we used to run past the flip-flops well, they call them sliders, I get no. We used to run past the flip-flops, and it was like, here's the easy way out there, here's the option. And for me, the resilience then was saying to these young kids that life gets difficult at times, but it's impermanent. You know, the storm will pass, and when life gets hard, you can't just hit the exit button, you know. And the word I was saying to them was, we need, as a group, we need as men to develop resilience, to have conversations, to not just keep it all in and then press the exit button. And I think resilience is just, I used to think it was reserved for like superheroes and people climbing Mount Everest and that, but it's a human characteristic, it's a human trait. We all have it. I think COVID showed us that everyone collectively has resilience, but it's something that I think you can only truly appreciate when you look back at what you've came through.
Powerful stuff, mate. On the
resilience for me, it's really about bouncing back ability. So how can you bounce back from failures, obstacles, setbacks, but also success? And the resilience piece for me that I resonate with was through injury in sport. And I've had my fair share of knee and hip injuries and stuff playing sport for my club and county. And it was, how was I able to bounce back from that? And I suppose as Kieran said, looking back, why was I resilient? How was I resilient? And I've only really sort of came to this probably this year. I developed a mantra, and I didn't know I developed this mantra, and I don't know why I had it, but for me, and I haven't shared this with anybody before, but my mantra was, I'm the ace card. And the ace card for me stood for, A was action. So what attitude do you bring to this? Whatever is in your control, your positive mental attitude, whatever setback you have. The C was commitment. So whatever process I put in place here, I am committed to it 100%. So if your physio gives you a program, or whatever it is you put in place, I am committed to that. And the E was effort, hard work. And seeing any obstacle or setback as a challenge, I show you, I'm going to get back in 3 months. The physio said it'd be 5, I'll be back in 3. So I developed a mantra, and I think it's important for people with a resilient mindset to develop that mantra. And it has to be individual to you. But mine is an ace card. So I know now that if I'm in a sticky situation again, up against it, I can pull that ace out of the card deck. And I know if I bring the right attitude, and I'm committed to it, and I bring energy and effort, I get through any storm.
Absolutely. Absolutely unreal. Unreal. I'm going to speed up this last bit. Pretending my daddy this was only going to last 45 minutes to get him in here. So, last time I was here at Donald's show, I had to run out after. I was meant to be meeting Annette after, and I had to run out because he grabbed his cup of tea ready, and he ended up drinking a both of them, so he did by the time you get home. So, make sure I get him home for his wee soaks after this. So, MGD Coaching. There was wee contact details on the business card that everyone got on their schedule. If you want to reach out. The most impressive thing with it all is the website. I'm very, very fortunate to know Dave Toner. I've coached his son, Gaelic coached his son, even I'm getting my head around this, for a number of years. And Dave, like the best of people, I only really appreciated this in recent months. People just want to help you. Me and Shawnee were talking about this the other day. People in life literally just want to help you. I never ever in my life did anything seeking something in return. It was just what you did. You're on, I remember in our life coaching, I think it was the 7th module. It was about your relationship with yourself. I was looking, what is this? What am I talking about? What do you mean a relationship with yourself? It's going, you have a relationship with other people. You can't, you're you. We're here for other people. We're here to help others. The reason you're here on this earth is to support others, that's it. And then when the penny finally dropped on me that if you don't look after yourself, how are you going to be able to look after other people? People like that, if you don't put your own life jacket on first before you get them on the kids, or your own mask in the plane and that there. So that was learning for me. But Dave, when he heard the path I was down, he says, Michael, Jared, I believe in you. I want to help you in any way possible to get this off the ground. And I think you'd agree, the logo we put together is just on a different level. I know I'm very biased, but I'm blown away by it. He's every wee bit that I think about. I hated the fact that I had to have me in it. But he says, the aim, you are the brand. Whether you like it or not, you have to put yourself out there now. So get your head around it. It's happening soon. The tick is obviously for positivity, achievement, and then that personal connection. As Kieran pointed out earlier on, that's all what it's about. It's all about connections. At times people think I'm the strangest man about it because I stop, I'll yarn to anyone. I see Carrie here in front of me. Carrie, I'm going to bring it up. We're on a school trip with the kids at the end of the year. I saw a wee woman, she had 3 triplets, wee babies, pushing the pram. She just looked exhausted. And I just turned around to her and says, would you like a hug? And I just went up there, gave her the hug, and I just says, you know what? Them 3 kids are lucky to have you. Even getting them out of the house alone is unbelievable. And see, even for that 10 seconds, if I give her a wee breath of fresh air or something to get her through them crying and squealing in the park 10 minutes later, it's worth saying. I'm not afraid to have them conversations. Be it the lady in Asda who's packed my bags and nearly smashing some of my cans of fruit. I'll ask her what she's doing afterwards. Hopefully she doesn't think I'm asking her on a date, obviously. But I just get on and look, what have you got to look forward to? What are you going to get up to? Brilliant, really appreciate that. And just making that time for everyone to have that wee connection. You just don't know what may come off that conversation. You don't know where you'll pick it up again. So Dave, thank you so, so much. I really want to give Dave a round of applause because I wouldn't be here. I really urge you all to check the website out. If you're looking for something similar done or any brand done, Dave's contact details are there. It's an absolute legend. So, how does the whole process work? On the business cards, you can contact me by any of the socials, by phone, or on the website. There's basically what's called a chemistry call. You can click on this booking form to reach out. And what I love about the chemistry call is, unlike a lot of other services that you just jump straight into, the chemistry call is basically where you give me a wee bit of details about yourself and what you'd like to partner on, connect on, and we have a chat for 15 minutes. And you can make up, because a lot of people, myself included at the start, thought that this is a service that just fixes you. I'm going here to get fixed, I'm going here to get all the answers. They very quickly find out in minute 3 of the phone call conversation that this isn't about me fixing anyone, this is about you, and you have to be prepared to work yourself. And that just saves a lot of hassle, people jumping straight into this isn't for me. Likewise, they need to get to know me. If we're going to share on the sort of level that I like to, an unbelievable mentor, a man called Stephen Hunter, who was a benchmark in coaching for me, and he talked about dolls and about the client chooses, you know, Russian dolls. I can't remember the exact name, Pushkas dolls. The client decides how many dolls they want to drop. They can make the session as light, surface level as they want, or as deep as they want. That's all on them. But we won't be probing, we won't be forcing them to do anything. We'll ask questions, and it's up to the client to navigate where the session goes. So the chemistry calls on real, and that's basically what happens. I'll ring up, or I'll send them ring me up at a particular time, and we'll chat for 15 minutes and see if it's a good fit. Format can take place in one-on-one sessions or in team group workshops. We're going to have my first group workshop this Sunday with St. Peter's Gardens minor team, and we're going to do a bit of performance work there. I'm also going to be starting with the Black Mountain Shared Space project, where there's going to be an 8-week course for free. I'll send the details out, and it's really focused on lone parents, on single parents, and there'll be an awful lot of self-development work, innovation, communication, conflict resolution, a lot of key areas, using coaching as a method to move forward with it, and it's something I'm particularly passionate about and really excited. So we have that coming up in September.
Folks, Porter Corey here, and I'm just jumping on to share my experience with MGD Coaching. Leading up to my 17th fight, me and Neil had arranged to have 4 sessions, and yeah, at first I was skeptical. I wasn't too sure what to expect. Reaching out and speaking to people isn't something that I usually do. But after the 4 sessions, I was extremely happy that I took part. Obviously, with professional boxing, there's a lot of stuff goes on, not as much physically, but more mentally. And also, with being a personal trainer, trying to run a small business on top of training for a fight and being a dad of 3, I found it challenging. But we also helped, we were able to put a structure, a plan in place to be able to manage it all better. And then after boxing, I have a lot of ideas of what I want to do. Some not so good and some slightly better. And again, with me also coaching help and tips and help, whatever you want to call it, I was able to narrow it down and really hone in on what's best suited for me. The environment that I set, his style of coaching, I found extremely comforting, and something that I want to take advantage of in the future. Yeah. So yes, Michal, great guy, great coach, and I recommend him to a lot of people. It's not just sports coaching; it's life coaching. So experience 10 out of 10, and thank you very much.
My wife was paying. Tony's just someone who was busting to do something. When he heard the date, he was raised and he couldn't get. He says, "Look, can I do a wee video or something for you?" So I think he's still showing some stars there in his eyes. So he's a wee glasses on in the way, but I'd much rather been in Spain these past 2 weeks. What's his weather in Vegas summer? So I'm so humbled by the fact that he was willing to open up like that, and he wanted to help so much that he was willing to put himself out there and share about his own experience. And I mean, and back to what Kieran said about men sharing, especially a boxer. I mean, you think of the pressers where they're all flipping tables at the minute and trying to throw heads in. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about there. And I'm extremely humbled that he wanted to do that for me. So I'm not going to go through all these. Just to let you know, when you go on the website, it gives you a list of the sort of things that clients up until now. I've maybe 160 coaching hours under my belt to date. I'm working with every range of people. I'm actually working with someone as young as 14 at the minute, albeit with a parent present, right up to those of the watch from when we speak each year, or some here slightly older. But as all the panel said, everyone can benefit from coaching. Every single person can benefit from coaching. And I'm all honest. I just have a particular passion, if I'm being honest, is to help those nearest to me. I have a real passion for helping those in my local area, in my own community, because I think it's something that could really help us. I'm always looking for different ways to engage our young people and our adults to be the best versions of themselves, to be open up more. And this to me is my wee part of the puzzle where I'm trying to make that difference too. But the door is open for everyone, even our man people and people who moved there. That's the sports side of the game. I'm not going to run through, you can check it out on the website and the business or the career performance side. And second last thing, I just want to give an absolute massive thanks to everyone who made tonight possible. Shawnee, who spoke early on there from Mayor Coaching, has basically coached me for free, if you can say that. He's one of the top coaches in the country, and he just wanted to help another human being, someone who spoke from a GA background, someone who, like himself, has gone through a pretty significant transition in his life. But they can't. He's literally chased me at times to see if I was about being proactive and trying to meet me. And you see someone going out of their way that much just to help you and do nothing but make your heart good. So Shani, thank you so much, buddy. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. No sooner put my first post up that the event was taking place, and Joe Carberry, who's taking photographs tonight, hadn't even worked out how to use Facebook yet, and there was a wee icon going and clicked it, thought it was spam or something, but I still don't know how to work it. And Joe was straight on saying, "Michael Jarrett, do you need a photographer for the night? I want to go down, I want to help you out." And it blows you away just how people straight, and he's literally on the button, straight down, straight in. First person that messaged me, I think, in that there since so long. So Joe, thank you so much, and looking forward. Anyone else? The front of the house there, who greeted us on the way in, Colin told he's been raging because Kira stopped him doing his stand-up piece. He wanted a wee 5 minutes in the middle. It was a coin toss between having her breath work or having her stand-up. And I'm sorry, but the breath work won, so maybe next time, Colin, maybe next time. But Colin starting off, and I made sure we wrote Gaelic in it in case anyone goes, I think he crowed himself if anyone went up and started sharing a few of their feelings or opening up a wee bit to Colin. So I had to make sure we put Gaelic coaching in there, so it is. So he's all good when it comes to figuring the Gaelic stuff out. The other stuff, he just slayed it. Big clap for Colin. Thank you. And then 3 people who made the event what it was, just created what you see in front of you now. My cousin Chris Fitzpatrick was actually here from 12 o'clock today. I don't think he's been home from 12 o'clock. I mean, he was the man that set all this up. I mean, from lighting to making me feel a lot more at ease when it came to using technology I'd never used before. He is a man. He just cares so much and goes out of his way for everyone else. So Chris, thank you so much for Mary Ellen and Claire's music at the start was absolutely fantastic. Only got 10-15 minutes of it. I'm
raging, but I think it just set the tone lovely when you just came in. So, girls, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And Kieran, we're going to hold back on our class. We'll see what this video was like afterwards. We'll see how it shows out. But no, Kieran, at short notice, was always willing to help. No matter what events go on, especially in the area, Kieran's your man, he's your go-to. And I know it's only class, no pressure. And last but not least, as I said, is I couldn't have picked 3 better people. I feel for tonight, just to encompass what tonight means to me, the message I'm trying to get across, and to have a sort of connection with all 3 of them just makes it so much more special. So, Kieran, do you mind stand up? Absolute razor out for Kieran. As I said, you'll agree with me now, the kindest of kind souls, Eva Lennon, thank you so much. Nazi, arm grabbing. And this is how I'm going to finish. So, these are the 3 words that I chose to represent my brand and MGD moving forward, MGD Coaching moving forward. One of them you'll completely get, and that's why it's in the middle. The explore part, it's taken me all 36 years to properly explore, to be brave enough to explore, because that's what it takes at times. It can be very easy, and sometimes you can almost be conditioned to stick the head in the sand, to just act like everything's okay, to get on and pretend things aren't happening, to put that mask on. Takes those qualities that we talked about, that bit of resilience, that bit of bravery, bagging yourself, actually having a relationship with yourself, to explore, to look within. Sometimes we're afraid to find out what's inside. So explore, folks. And I'll help my very best for everyone I'm working with to help them self-explore. I don't know many times the word believe or courage has been used tonight. And it's not just only a word that powerful. We must be hitting a few hundred. We must be hitting a few hundred. And there's going to be another 100 when we finish up here. To me, to believe is everything. I believe. No one else could do that for me. And this is a tough thing to say, because I know there's people in the room who've been heavily affected by suicide. The only person who can make that decision, no matter what support I have, is that person. And they have to believe. They have to believe in themselves. I can only do it myself. Even with all the support, the most unbelievable support, I mean family, friends, you name it, I had it. But I had to believe. I had to believe I could change. I had to believe that things were going to change for the better. And I bloody believed. I bloody believed. And because I believed, I'm thriving. I can tell you that now. I'm a modest guy, but I can tell you now, I'm thriving. I knew my feelings about today. Yes, that we pick up on the phone for a minute. But I'm thriving. I'm always on the phone here. I'm just like, Jesus, you're right. I know you're so calm on the phone. You're so like, I know this is you. Like, you told me from nowhere. I would be going down and feel like this. We thought it might have been counseling, but no, this is it. I know this is it. And through me thriving, I know I'm going to support so many people. So many people. I'll be so humble to do it. So the final word I want is all to say. And this always gave me a bit of power when I was in the darkest. My big bro Joe, who again will be a quiet man, probably hates me using his name now, didn't know what was going on. None of my brothers, to be honest with you, knew what was going on. Sister didn't know jazz enough, and I wanted to tell him. He'd tell you when he's ready. But our Joe used to do, and every time it gave me just that wee, just calm, I don't know what it, just filled me with an aura or a bit of power. And what he did is what I'm going to ask all you to do. Can I go do it with you? Okay. you if you do it beyond. What he did was grab his hand. A lot of times this was out of his car window and he grabbed your hand and he grabbed it as tight as he could. And he looked in my eye and I looked him in his eye. And the two of us shouted courage as we looked in each other. And see, the more we said courage, the harder we grabbed each other's hand. And the power went through it. May have only been for 10-15 minutes to get home and start having them mental thoughts again. But see the power he gave me. So I'm going to ask you to turn to the person next to you. Grab her hand as tight as you can. And all
Great. I never heard that word before, that's class.
I was wondering, he kept taxing me at Bridges.
Ready, grab it.
See, I would. I swear you've been up there 20 years.
That's useful. That's us.
That's awesome.
Nice,
We're together.
Yes.
Turn your lights on. Did you give Chris a shout out?